again, folks. It's another Thursday night. It's the STC. This is your friendly voice, Eckhard von Glan, coming to you live from the north of Germany. With me tonight, as usual, is Jose Estrada. Hi, Jose.
Hello, Eckhard. Hello, everybody.
Well, we seem to have finally solved our server problems, and everything looks all set and ready here for a great race. And tonight we're at Trois Rivieres, which is not in France but in Canada. It's a track that is very tight. It's very short, actually. It's only a bit more than 2 miles long. Takes about a minute to get around the track here. It's like Monaco, venue of the Formula 1 race this weekend. It's a track that is usually just normal streets, so all the bits and pieces of the track here have just street names, and it's very, very tight. It's got an arch, the Porte du Place here, which the grid is just now going through. The grid, let me tell you, is on the out lap at this moment, so the start is up very soon. I'll just give you a quick rundown here of the standings at the moment. We have Danielsson Motorsports in 1, the Roaring Pipes Maniacs and 2, the Black Rebels in 3, the Black Visors in 4, and Danielsson Motorsports 2 in number 5. Problem is, both of the Danielsson sports teams have to move to the back of the grid. They were not able to qualify because they didn't list which driver would be on the grid tonight early enough or on time, so they have to find a way past about 15 or 16 other players in the rounds to come. And Jose, are we with the grid now?
Yes, just going there after the standings screen, Eckhart.
Thank you very much indeed, because right now David Garcia is on his way out with the pace car, and we're just going through the second to last turn here. Last turn is actually called Villeneuve, and we're then out on the Avenue Gilles Villeneuve, and that's where the next race for the Sim Racing Team Challenge starts. It's David Greco for the Black Rebels who clinched the pole position here. And in second place you see Jack Keithley for DHR defending champions, and then a big surprise, Corse Racing put their car in, no sorry, it's the Roaring Pipes Maniacs in 3 for Dragos Haba, who's a Canadian as well, and then the big surprise, the Corse Racing car in number 4, that's Antonio Cambria, but let's concentrate on the start here, and Keithley goes into the wall. Keithley smacks the wall straight away, and Haba is fighting there in the back. And we see David Greco here going through that that arch for the first time, and Greco is through, Haba is through, and also Antonio Cambria, of course, is through, but where on earth is Jack Keithley? There was a little tussle there, I don't know what happened, couldn't see it, but Keithley was into the wall. Greco still in the lead, Haba in 2. And we have 2 of the best sim racers out there here leading the pack of the STC on this very, very tight circuit. And we're almost done with the first lap, so you can see how quick a lap actually is taken here. Weather conditions are fine, it's sunny and there is no forecast of rain. Now we see Haba going into the last turn, that's Villeneuve, and now out on the front and start and finish straight, and he has finished the first lap now, and already Haba down a little bit. Greco here touches the wall on the inside just slightly, and it's Greco in 1, Haba in 2, Antonio Cambria in 3, Kevin Clark for the Fat Out Racing in 4. Haven't seen the Fat Outs up there for a long time. And then in 5, it's Mikael Larsson for the Blue Flag Racing. Gee, we haven't had a car up there for an equally long time. And down the grid we go in 6. It's Konrad Stanchak, the second of the Blue Flaggers there. My heart beats mightily as I see my teammates so far up the grid. In 7, Carl Roach, a new face for the DHR Apex, followed and in fact attacked by one of the small Black Visor Ultima racers here, Fernando Ruiz, ultra-fast guy, who was so unlucky in Sugo and who really knows how to put the Ultima through its paces here on this track, and he's trying with all his might to get past Roach. A little push here by Ruiz, debater will move that one, but Ruiz has passed, and now Roach is down in 8. So, Roach in 8, and down we go. In 9 already, Roland Ehnström. I told you he had to start from the back of the grid, and Ehnström, let me tell you, started in 15. Already he made up 6 positions. And there's a blue flagger down there. I can see one of our cars with a bit of a problem there. So Ehnström in up to 8 as that blue flagger went down. And in 9 we have Abbas for the team Amy Degen Racing. That is the best position they had on the grid this season so far. So Ihab Abbas in 9, and another tussle there, but right now Abbas goes into the wall, and the second of the Black Rebels racers slams into him, and Abbas loses his front splitter. Abbas now under attack from Danielsson Motorsport Racing Team 2 driver, who goes past on the inside because Abbas obviously having problem keeping his car on the track without the splitter, and now also the second Black Rebels racer goes past. Abbas here having to take a long line. I suppose we'll see him in the pits pretty soon. Abbas down to 14. In 15, just now about to pass him, is another flat-out racer, that is Brian Stark. Brian Stark trying to get past Abbas, trying to make a move. He, of course, doesn't know that Abbas is actually racing with a handicapped car, and now he is neatly passed. Abbas now down to 15, and in 16 we have Luc Mongas for the Project D. He also started from the back of the grid. He must have had a problem in qualifying because he didn't set a time lap. In 17, Keith Apples, the second of the Amy racers. And then in 18, Ben Tusting. Wonder what's he doing down there. Must have been a problem somewhere along the line, because he is also a really fast guy, and the Ultima should be ultimately suited for this track. Let's see who else is there. Mikael Larsson has been to the grid, and he is back out again. That was the blue flag racer we saw with a problem early on, and already he is a lap down. But I suppose to say we should go back to the front, because we have David Greco and Dragos Haba still up there in front, fighting for the top position. David Greco, brilliant. Greco followed very closely by Dragos Haba here. And Haba's car is a bit more suited for this track, I would say. What do you say, Jose? Have you actually taken some laps with the Black Rebels Corvette on this track?
No, honestly I did not, Eckhart. But now in the car, I think the Corvette is not the best car for this kind of tracks. Really long car, quite difficult to control. So I don't think it's the best car for this track. It's really a car prepared for straights. Yep,
for the kind of high-speed racing, isn't it? And I'm really surprised that it really is a testimony to David Greco's skill here, that he can actually keep Dragos Haba at bay. And yes, please. So you're with P56, and that's where the action is, you say. Let me quickly go there on my screen. It's my teammate, Konrad Stanchak, who was moved up to 5 by Mikael Larsson's problems there. And he is defending. He's got his hand full. It's one of the small Ultimas behind him. That's Fernando Reis. And Stanchak now on the longest of the straights, which is called Rue Caldon. And approaching brake zone here, and then he is already taking a defensive line. Well done, Konrad. So Reis really, it's fully trained forming up here behind Konrad Stanchak. It's a Stanchak training for us. And now into the next brake zone, another one of the 90 degrees turns, and Reis is really impatient out there, going left, going right, trying to find a way past. But actually that BMW is really difficult to pass. Now he's hitting a little, and that gives Roland Ehnström the chance to slip past, but Stanchak closes the door here. Very well done indeed by Konrad Stanchak. Brilliant racing, so Reis is now actually trying to get past Roland Ehnström. And that, friends, does not exactly look good, but Reis is on a daredevil drive here. He's past Ehnström again and ready to take on Stanchak, but Ehnström not one to give up. But that track under the court there, under that arch, is really tight, so Ehnström has to scale back the speed a bit, but now he's in the slipstream. He's in the slipstream of the Ultima, and it's going to be really loud, because if you have that Ford GT40 behind you, that sounds just awesome. And Reis he's taking defensive line, so Ehnström has to hold back. And a bit further down, we see that Ludde Andersson, also for the Danielsson Motorsport 1, is having another one of these fights. He's fighting against the DHR Apex racer there. And Reese now again trying to make a move on Stanchak on the inside, but Conrad is really fighting for survival here. Difficulty keeping the car in control, and now Reese has it past. Reese is past the inside racer, and he has got Ehnström on the inside, which is not a nice thing to have, and I suppose that Stanchak will have to let him go. Little touch there by Stanchak, but very well done indeed, and now he has that Apex racer on the outside. They touch twice, and the Apex racer goes into the wall. And I can see on my screen that Luc Mongas, the Project D racer, had to leave the race. I hope it wasn't another connection problem that we had the last two races that plagued the STC, but we're back here live. And it's a great race up here. We're fighting for position 5, 6 and 7. Stanchak now down to 7 from 5. And Ehnström now trying to get past Reese. And Fernando Reese is really not taking it lightly here on the Ultima. And David Greco, David Garcia is with us. David, how was the outlap in the safety car on this very tight track? Everything fine?
Yes, good night guys. Everything was fine. We made a slower formation lap Eckart. It was a pace around 70 kilometers per hour as it is a very slow circuit. We tried to keep a compact group in the formation.
Sorry guys, but Fernando Reese, I think it had an accident, went into the wall and left the race.
Yep, saw it on my server. I didn't see Ehnström touching him at all. I think he just powered out a little too much on that turn, trying to trying to get some distance between a strongly pushing Ehnström and his ride, and that maneuver obviously went wrong, and the walls are pretty unforgiving. So we've seen a couple of cars already stuck in these walls. It's going to be really like who's going to make it to the finish line here on this grid. So let's see what's up with this group here. That was formerly a fighting group. It's now down to Ludde Andersson in position 6, and he has just passed Konrad Stanchak, who's doing all he can to keep all those Danielsson racers who had to come from the back of the grid behind him. And Stanchak now in 7, which is still an awesome position to be in if you're a blue flagger, and he does have his work cut out for him, because right on his tail now is Johan Pesula, who is also an extremely fast racer for the Danielsson Motorsports Team 2. And behind Pesula we see none other than Gregory de Grief for the Black Rebels, and Stanchak here taking a nice defensive line against Pesula's attack, but that leads him out a little wide, but he can keep the car under control. But now he really has Pesula all over his back, and let's see how long he can keep him there. We're into the brake zone, a bit of white smoke coming up there, and de Grief with a wide slide. He obviously had to step onto the brakes to not rush into the other ones, but he could keep it under control. Stanchak under heavy pressure, and you can see already that his BMW is a bit dented on the right-hand side, so he must have gotten a little push somewhere in one of the first laps. Stanchak in 7, and Pesula now extremely close. He's really very confident in what he's doing here, and now he's touched Stanchak a little, but that BMW stays nicely on track, and also Pesula stays on track here, but he obviously kind of knocked on Stanchak's door, saying, fellow, I want to be in position number 7. I'm on my way up. But this is a track where you really have to be patient and take your time and wait for a good position to go past. He tries it on the inside here. Johan Pesula and Stanchak actually leave some room for him. Gentleman driving here by all in this pack, and now Stanchak tries to fight back. He is on the inside, but he's just a little too far behind. He's early on the brakes than Pesula by far to avoid any trouble there. And now Stanchak is under attack from Gregory de Grief, who of course is one of these really fast guys out there. But Conrad is doing an awesome job here. Another push here by Gregory de Grief, who's trying to get past. And watch that distance that Pesula already set between himself and Conrad Stanchak, just in, I don't know what, like a quarter of a lap here. So, very fair racing here from what I can see, David. What's your impression from the pictures you've seen so far? Are the drivers coping with the track?
Yeah, possibly, Eckhart. Possibly. You know, it's a very difficult circuit.
It certainly is. We did a test race here before the season, you may remember, David, and I was in that race too, and we had a bit of slippery track then, didn't we? Like a soft rain falling, and it was dreadful. I don't think I lasted for more than 15 laps actually.
Yes, it was in a shortest format to test the complete mod, and as you say, it's very narrow. You have to change your mind in this kind of circuits.
Yep, and we've got these huge rear-wheel drive virtual GT races. I mean, it would be completely different cup of tea with something like the Minis that you also have in GTR Evo, or in Race On for that matter. But with these huge beasts like the Corvette, it is actually quite difficult to know where they stop and where they start, isn't it? To really get your bearings in the virtual car, since you're not in a real car where you can kind of feel where the thing ends. So that's my main problem on these tight tracks. I really have problems imagining, well, how far to the left or to the right does my virtual ride go? There was a touch here by De Grief. He tried to move past, but the stunt shark sticking to his line, and then De Grief artfully getting his car back. And what do you think, David? Will players be playing here with the hood view, or will they be sticking to the hardcore sim racing cockpit view?
Well, I don't know. It depends on everyone. As it's free choice right now on STC. I like the cockpit view, but when it's not an advantage as it is, you are sometimes are forced to change to the hood view.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm also one of these cockpit view players. I even get rid of the steering wheel because I have my plastic steering wheel in front of me, and it just looks kind of daft, doesn't it, having two steering wheels? But yeah, so I agree. I think in the hood view you can actually, if it's a really tight track, get a better view of where you actually are on the track sometimes. And now Stanchak made a little mistake there, braking just a tad too little. It might be the first sign of the tires causing him some problems, and then De Grief finally slips past, and poor Conrad, he's gotten rid of one of the Danielsson Motorsports team too, and there we have Peter Kuhl behind him, and it's the same problem all over again. And that BMW, that smaller one, the Z4 that the Danielsson Motorsports 2 have chosen, I think it's fairly suited for this track. What's your opinion, David? Have you been testing all the cars here on the track?
Well, not in the circuit, but I have to test all the cars in the progress of creating the model. And yes, I agree with you, Eckhart. As smaller as the car is, normally it is more flexible and easier to get into the corners. Maybe the case with the Z4.
Yeah, I would have thought the Ultimas, the Black Visor racers, would have had a huge advantage here. I was a bit disappointed by their showing in the qualification. The best Fernando Ruiz turned up in 12, and Ben Tusting was unable to finish the lap. Maybe there was some technical problem there. So, but Fernando Ruiz is on his way up the grid now, and so say, should we check on Fernando where he is at the moment?
No, Eckhart, as I said before, Fernando crashed into a wall. And,
I'm sorry, yeah, I totally missed out on that one. Yes, indeed, and that leaves only, if I'm not mistaken, Tusting also had to leave the grid, so that might be we have a Black Visor free grid here at the moment. So say, should we give some airtime to the race leaders then? I think we've been sticking with this fight for a long time, and it seems that racers have pretty much settled in at this point in the race, so should we go back to position number 1?
Sure, Eckhart. Let's go.
Okay. In 9 then, we see Conrad Stamsk. In 8, Gregory De Grief. In 7, Johan Pesula, who is chasing the guys in front. In 6, Ludde Andersson for Danielsson Motorsports Virtual Team 1. Our leaders in the overall standings. In 5, Roland Ehnström, putting a lot of pressure on Antonio Cambria for the Corse racing team from Italy. In 4, as I said, Antonio Cambria. And then in 3, Kevin Clark for the flat out. It's the best result they had so far this season, if I'm not mistaken. If he can keep that result up there, and it looks as if his car is totally unscathed, so he must have done some awesome clean racing up to this point here, and I can see a single dent in his machine. And then in 2 we have Dragos Haba, Canadian racer, who should feel at home here at Trois Rivieres. Don't know really where it comes from in Canada, but maybe it's a bit patriotic moment for him there on a virtual Canadian track. And then in 1 still, Greco of Italy, who is playing for the Black Rebels team, and he's chasing Mikael Larsson, who was down a lap, but from what I can see, he has unlapped himself, and which would be quite an achievement against someone like Greco. But I was mistaken. Nope, it's a blue flag racer without splitter going into the pits, and also heavily damaged. Let me quickly check who that is. Going into the pits there is our friend Konrad Stanchak, who must have succumbed to the huge pressure that was put on him by all these players trying to get past, and he's now down to 12 in the pits. Whereas Mikael Larsson is in 14, just to keep my blue flag fans updated on our team. But back to the top, we're still with Greco. And should we go to Roland Ehnström trying to pass the Corse racer there? I think that's a fairly interesting match, because I think both of them have cars that are not ideally suited for this track. Neither the Mosler nor the Ford GT40 is what comes to your mind if you think of a tight street circuit. What say? Should we go to 4?
Yeah, sure.
This is what I love about my cameraman. I just keep telling him where to go, and he gives you all the action, and there we are. It's Roland Ehnström on the inside at this very moment, outbraking Antonio Cambria, who then has to drop a place down to 5, so that's what I call precision timing. And Ehnström now on the chase for a podium position. Cambria trying to fight back, missing his braking point a little going into the wall, but it looks as if that virtual muscler has not suffered any real damage in that slide. He also touched the wall just a little. And the muscle is difficult to control on the best of days, at least to someone of my inferior skills, and must be, just a handful on this track here. And you can also see in Cambria's line that, especially going into the turns, he does have a handful with this virtual racer, actually keeping it under control in the brake zones. Through that arch, if I'm not mistaken, it's called Porte du Place, but it was very difficult to read on the map of Trois Rivieres that I got online, so the name might be slightly different, but Port it is anyway. And Cambria here in 5, and this is the position where Ehnström overtook him in the last lap, and you can see the distance already. It's about 100 meters here between Cambria and Ehnström. And the car behind there, it's one of the Amy racers, obviously a lap down, maybe due to repairs. And behind Cambria then, the next one to come and try to get past him, that is Ludde Andersson for the Danielsson Motorsports Team 1. So you can see both of the Danielsson Motorsports Team 1 still in the race, both still going strong, and coming from qualifying positions, or grid positions 15 and 16, they are now up to 4 and 6, so both have gained about 10 spots now. That is what I call precision racing there by the guys from Danielsson Motorsports. Just off the cuff, saying David, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're down to 18 players at this point. How many players will actually survive the grueling 90 minutes of Trois Rivieres?
It's 15 drivers, Eckhart.
Oh my goodness, we're down to 15 already. Let's have a quick check how many we had on the grid. And there were 20 actually making it to the grid. We had another problem with Panu Ronkainen having to leave the grid after qualification. So, but apart from that, I think everything looks nice and stable tonight, thanks to the GameHosters.net. But 15 right now, what do you think? Will it be down to a dirty dozen in the end, or will we have even less than 12?
Well, the track doesn't help, you know, but it can be a classic Formula 1 ending with maybe 7 or 8 cars in a bad day.
Yep.
Who knows?
Who knows, but weather-wise at least it's a good day, so we don't have a slippery track here, which is very helpful indeed. But I never knew there was Spanish understatement, David. A very nice example there by you. Okay, so say your expert advice. David said we might be down to 7 or 8 at the end of the race. What would you say?
No, I think now we have 15, I think 14.
14, so one unlucky guy has to pack it in between now and the end of the race. One of you, how long have we been in this race, and how many more minutes do we have to go?
David can help with that.
Okay, David, you got an answer for me?
Yes.
Never mind. How many more minutes to go?
Yes, it's still 63 minutes to go. It's a lot.
Okay, so we have 1/3 of the race under our belt. What do you think? Will players be on a 2 pit stop strategy? I have no idea about tire wear here on this tight track. It looks to me as if the tires are, well, there's not really too much stress on them because the turns are not that fast. I mean, well, they are 19 degrees turns, which are really not good for your tires. But what do you think? 2-stop strategy or 1-stop strategy?
Well, in my opinion, the powerful cars as the Mustang, the Corvette, the Beamers will go to a 2-stopper, but I am not sure. It depends on the driving style as well.
Exactly, yep. It really is. If you can find a smooth line around this track here, it will certainly help you a lot. So if there's 2 stoppers, we will see. The racers should be in the pits in about this lap or the next 5 laps, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so say, since we only have 15 on the grid, shouldn't we give some airtime to all of them and do the first of our famous rundowns?
Well, no, Eckhart this time, because I just did where you were talking about.
Oh, well, give me a quick hint then where the blue flaggers are, just out of interest.
Well, I think they are surviving in the last positions of the grid, but it's okay. I think they both have problems.
Okay, well, as long as we get
P14 for the blue flag.
15 and 14, so guys, keep on fighting. It's a long way to Tipperary, and it's not the end of the day yet. And on my screen, I have just seen Ben Tusting behind, just being left by David Greco. So there's still one Black Visor Motorsport racer in the race. Sorry, Black Visors, if I said before that Tusting also had to drop out. And so Fernando Ruiz, we saw him spin into the wall. Bad luck for him. But Tusting is still with us in that nifty little Ultima, and Greco is still in front. That is just amazing. But David, you hinted at maybe a possible 2 pit stop strategy for the big Corvette. That would play into the hands of Dragos Haba, wouldn't it?
Yes, but if it looks like Greco is putting distance between them. So it doesn't look like Greco's tires are worse than Haba's tires, you know.
Not at all, not at all. Also, I'm just checking his lines. I mean, Greco is always just masterful on the lines. And again here, I can see him, well, I've just seen him touching the wall a little there going into the brake zone. But to me, it looks extremely smooth. So more like somebody trying to take his tires through a long first stint and then to one pit stop. So if I would have to put my money, I would put my money on one pit stop for most of the players here. I think they're simply going to try to conserve the tires and then get back on the track with only one pit stop.
Yes.
Okay, so say race control tells me position 8 is where the music's playing. And it definitely is. There's a nice pack of racers here. Peter Cole for the Danielsson Motorsports Team 2 in position number 8 indeed. And following closely one certain Roland Ehnström, who is all of a sudden in 7. David, did you see anything? Was Ehnström in the pits, or how did he lose so much space?
Yes, I think Roland went on pits.
Okay.
But I am not really sure.
Yep, we'll have to wait and see. We have to find out. Pity we don't have a graph telling us which player was already in the grids. But here we have in 7 Ehnström, in 8 Kuhl, in 9 Gregory de Graaf, for the Black Rebels, and then in 10 a great race by Monsieur Gregory Kugotti for the Project D. I wouldn't want to put that massive big Celine through his paces, and already we can see David Greco appearing behind these guys, so he's about to lap now that bunch of really very great sim racers here, so that shows us the brilliant speed that David Greco has on this track in this Corvette. Actually in 11 we see Ben Tusting of the Black Visors, but let's stick with Kuhl here. And it's now down to lapping Mikael Larsson, the blue flag racer there, who is fighting with one of the Amy guys, the sole surviving Amy racer. Should be, at least according to my paper here, Ihab Abbas, but I might be mistaken. A spin there, spin by Mikael Larsson as he's braking, going out of the Villeneuve Straight and into a turn called Stade. And but we still, I think, stick with Peter Kuhl, we stick with Gregory de Graaf in 9, and we stick with Kugotti in 10 and Peter Kuhl in 8. And now Kuhl has some problems there. What was that? He was going into the brake zone. There was really no one pushing him, or nothing really going on here. Nothing adverse going on, and he totally lost control of his virtual car. I wonder what happened there. To me, it looked as if he had maybe some problems with his wheel at home. Very strange behavior of that racer there. David, did you see it on your screen as well, that maneuver there by Peter Kuhl?
Yes, and it really looked weird, as you say, Eckhart. But if he didn't stop yet, braking with very gone tires can be dangerous. And in this corner, it is a very hard braking point.
It is,
and easy to lose control in there.
Yep. If I remember correctly from my playing this track, it's quite slippery. The surface just approaching that corner, at least I think there's a little bump there as well. So he might have simply just lost it due to bad tires, or there might have been a problem, a hardware problem on his side there. It just looked weird, didn't it? Just the car swerving to the left, swerving to the right, and half a spin. And he was really under he was under pressure, of course, but not really any direct pressure by any of the guys behind him. So Peter Cole down to 11. Bad luck for the Danielsson Motorsports Team 2. And that leaves Gregory de Graaf in 8, and he's just been passed by David Greco. So de Graaf is the green Black Rebels player, whereas de Graaf is the black or gray player here on the grid. And then we have that 80 racer there who is about to be lapped. Yes, he's making room nicely for Greco. He's slotting in before the Graaf gets past, and now he's out of the way again. Perfectly done. And we have Dragos Haba coming up from behind there, trying to get past these guys as well. So lots of action going on here with these lapped players. That is, of course, the beauty of a race on a tight track like this. We had this at Swede before, didn't we? That there was a lot of action going on with the lapping maneuvers.
And Eckart, I think Blue Flag lost one car as Mikael Larsson has retired, is in the pits, but not pitting in.
Yep. Well, we saw him having trouble before, so he might just have crashed his car and then decided to call it a day because it was undrivable afterwards. That would be my guess. Which is a pity. He was really fast in the qualifying. Let me quickly check my file. He was 9th in the qualifying, which is just a pretty good result here, even considering that the Danielsson Motorsports weren't allowed to take a qualification lap. But still, 9th is brilliant, and then the race didn't seem to go well for him, so too bad.
Okay, Eckart, do you remember what position was Roland?
When the last time we saw him.
Yes, but I mean before getting on pit.
That was in 4. That was in 4.
Okay.
In 4, yeah, he was behind the flat-out guy. He was in 4. We had a Greco in front, Haba in 2, and then the flat-out player there. That's Kevin Clark, if I remember correctly. Let's have a quick check here. Yes, Kevin Clark in 3, and then Ehnström was up to 4, and Andersson was up to 6 before either he pitted, which we didn't see then on our screen, or before he ran into some trouble.
No, Ross Balfour from RPM wrote on chat that Roland went on pit, so looks like it. I am asking you because looks like Roland is on a very good pace. And with the traffic we are having on the tarmac, maybe it is a good strategy.
Yeah, it looks again. Yep. Because really, there's a very little chance that you have a free flow at any given point in the race. There's just a lot of traffic out there. And so if you see that the road is kind of blocked ahead, then why not pit and pick up some fresh tires? Also, the pit lane here is rather short, so really the pit doesn't take as long as it does in other places.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's fighting for the position with Antonio Cambria with the core team.
And he's passed.
Exactly.
He quickly moved that camera to 6 and 5 because we've seen that before. Ehnström passes Cambria, and well, if Cambria hasn't been to the pits yet, that maneuver really spells disaster for him, doesn't it? Because here comes a guy who's overtaken me before. He's been to the pits, he's back out of the pits, and he's overtaken me again. So that really means that Ehnström's tactics might be paying off.
And he's getting really close to Ludde Andersson.
Yep.
What means completely that Roland was on the correct strategy. I mean, now they are in the same strategy. They are going only for one stop right now, and they are almost in the same position.
Exactly. And plus, especially with that massive Ford GT40 to play with, I think tires should wear out pretty quickly for these racers.
Yeah.
And don't forget, in the STC we also have a choice of 2 different makes of tires, so maybe he's on a soft strategy, whereas Andersson is taking hards both time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right then, cameraman Jose, which position are we following while we're babbling away here about the Danielsson Motorsports racers?
Well, we work with them, position 5 with Roland now, that is catching up
Okay guys, camera work, thank you. Oh, bad news for the Black Visors, Ben Tusting had to leave the game, so we're down to 13. We've dropped past your guest, Jose, at less than 14, and we haven't even done half the race. So it'll be a matter of who actually survives here at Trois Rivieres in Canada.
Okay, Ludde Andersson is letting Roland pass, so Roland is already in P4.
Yep. And I'm marveling at the Danielsson Motorsports guys, the kind of dedication they put into this. They have like several race engineers who get the data from the virtual races, analyze it, tell the players on the team speak what they should do next, what move to take. It's highly professional, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
And Ehnström really is on the move here. He's had two stinging losses the last 2 Sundays in the race department TCC championship, where he dominated the first 3 races, but then he had to settle for second and now for third in the 4th and 5th race. So he really has, well, I think he's a bit mad at losing these races, and he's really putting in an absolutely fantastic performance here. Look at that distance he puts between his car and Ludde Andersson there, and it all looks so effortless, doesn't it? Clean lines, clean in the break points, and then clean past the turns. Just amazing.
Okay, guys, we have P3, the flat-out guy, Kevin Clark.
Yep. Pitting.
At pit, yeah, exactly.
Which puts Ehnström in 3.
I was checking Roland's lap times before Kevin Clark get on pit, and the difference was around 2 seconds faster per lap. Roland is even 1 second faster per lap than the 2 guys leading the race, Greco and Haba.
If he goes on at that pace, and we have many laps here on this tight track, if he goes on at that pace, he does stand a fair chance of winning this race. And, bad news there for the Black Rebels. No, sorry, not for the Black Rebels, for the Project D. Monsieur Cogotti had to leave the race, and so we're down to 12. The Dirty Dozen still out on track here. Right, we have about half the race behind us. We're down to 12 players from 20 who made it to the grid, so 8 players out already. Ludde Andersson on the pits now at the moment in 5, in 6. We have David Greco still leading the race after 38 laps. Dragos Haba about a second behind, following him like a shadow. Then a huge gap opening to Ehnström, 40 seconds down. Cambria another 10 seconds down. Pesula 5 seconds down. And from then on, it's players a lap down. We still have 4 guys a lap down, and then 2 guys 2 laps down, and then Ihab Abbas of the Eni Racing 5 laps down. And Ludde Andersson gets out a lap down at this point. So I think we should stick with David Greco and Dragos Haba for the time being, because their pit stops should occur any minute now.
Yeah, it's true. Let's see how the plane battle is.
And Greco still out on the track, not pitting in this lap, and so is Haba. From what it looks like to me, Haba is in kind of a waiting position, waiting for his chance to make a move. But as long as Greco does not slip up on his superb performance here, I think Haba can wait for a long time, can't he?
The thing, Eckhart, is that Roland is still faster, and if it takes too much time for Haba and Greco to get into the pit, Roland will be closer and closer and closer.
Yes, but what do you figure? Will he have to do a second pit stop, or will he try to get through on this one?
I don't know, but even if he have to do a second pit stop, Greco and Haba have to pit as well. So as much they wait, as much they will go to the same strategy with the Roland going faster behind.
Yep, and now we have Dragos Haba in the pits.
Exactly.
I would have never thought that the RPM car, which is much nimbler and swifter than the huge Corvette that David Greco is playing with, is actually in the pits before. So we still have David Greco out on the track. Let's see where Haba rejoins the race. It still says number 2 here on my screen. And I can see a certain Mr. Roland Ehnström passing him at this moment. So Haba is down to 3, while Ehnström is up to 2. And still not pitting.
Eckart, I bet for Greco to pit in this lap.
Okay, yeah, I think the bet is on. I wouldn't bet against it, because I do have the same feeling. And there he is, pitting in just as we're speaking, and taking a lot of speed into the pits there, David Greco, so clearly he doesn't want to lose a single tenth of a second. Now let's see if we see that red, black and white Ford GT40 pass him.
The question now is more with Haba, Eckart. Will Haba be able to recover with fresh tires the second or couple of seconds that was separating them?
I don't think so. It's 1.5 seconds and it's only 1 lap that he has. If he had like 2 laps difference, I would give him a chance, but not as it stands. We see Ehnström coming up and Greco is down to 2, and now it's all up to the distance that he has, and here comes Haba. And Greco seems to have a problem on the pit, or he has to take on more fuel than the others, or he has to change more tires than the others. That was a decidedly much longer pit stop, wasn't it?
Yes, much longer than Haba's one.
And now we have number 4, Antonio Cambria, in the pits as well. So it really is pit time here, half time in the race. Cambria chooses his pit on the other side of the pit lane, and he is L-shaped indeed. At this point, Kevin Clark recovers position number 4.
Today, this can be a good day for both cars.
It could be, yes, because they're both still in the race. They're in 12 and 11 at the back of the grid, but who cares, as long as they're taking home many points. So far they only have 9 points on the table. So if they just stick to the positions they are in and bring both the Seat Cupra safely back home, that would be great for them. And now Haba has, or the other way around, Cambria has gotten back on track just in front of Haba. That definitely cost Dragos at least 2 or 3 tenths of a second, and he needs every little bit of time that he can get his hands on. So it's Roland Ehnström out in top, and let me quickly check how far ahead he is. He has a 9-second lead on Haba, and he has an 18-second lead on David Greco. So Greco's pit stop took something like 10 seconds longer than Haba's. And then Kevin Clark is down 35 seconds, Ludde Andersson down 52 seconds. I think we really have to watch those lap times very closely the next 10 laps or so, David, to figure out if Roland is on a 1-stepper or a 2-stepper, don't we?
Yes, completely right, Hedda. If he pits right now, he have a good difference with David Greco. Maybe an attempt of keeping the second position, because he's 18 seconds ahead. And
yeah,
the third position is granted right now.
Yep. I still think though he is pushing like mad, so to me it looks as if, yes, this is a 2-stopper, but it looks as if he's pushing for another 10 laps or so, and he will pit a bit later. I think think we just have to check the lap times in about 5 laps or so, whether he's actually still gaining about a second or so on these other guys.
Yeah.
At any rate, I mean, coming from position 15, this is another brilliant performance. This doesn't mean that Greco's or Haba's performance is, not absolutely brilliant as well, but I would say Ehnström's, among the 3 outstanding racers here, seems to be just a trifle more outstanding.
Yes, it is.
It looks as if that GT40 is flying, doesn't it? At least on my screen. That speed is just tremendous. If you switch into the driving camera, I would never dare to go so fast in these tunnels here. This is the white walls flying past on the left side and the right side. Try it, David. It's an amazing thing to do. And as I say, could you give our viewers that view, a bonnet view of Roland Ehnström's racer? It's just breathtaking what you see, because you see these turns flying up, you think, oh my god, he's got a brake, but he doesn't. And then the moment you think it's too late, he actually does brake and just flies around the corners. It's outstanding.
In fact, Roland is in his fastest lap. I mean, he's not right now, but he made the race fastest lap. He's the only one under 1 minute 2 seconds.
Oh wow, that is almost qualification times. And we're in a long distance race with a full tank, with worn tires. I mean, this is a 90-minute race. We're not talking about the WTCC format here. We're talking about a GT format. So he is close to qualification times. That is just brilliant. Well, we haven't finished qualification time.
If you want a curiosity, Eckhart, the last lap for Dragos Haba and David Greco was exactly the same. 1 minute, 2 seconds, 150 tenths.
Alright, and Ehnström's last lap?
Was a bit slower, but not that much. It was 0.7 slower than them. But he is keeping a very good pace.
Yep, so that means he can't actually pull away from Haba at this point.
No, he can't. He really can't. Haba and Greco are in better conditions with the tires. So my idea of pitting in a couple of laps ago, I think it was a good decision for Danielsson Motorsports.
But then again, you're not a Danielsson Motorsports engineer, so they have all the data. Now Ludde Andersson has to let Ehnström past. Andersson obviously having some problems there. I saw him spin, I think, just before Ehnström passed, just coming onto my screen there. And so I think he does have some serious tire problems, either that or maybe there's something else is wrong with his player. Okay. Since the race has a bit settled down, let's talk about the season as a whole. David, we have one more race at the end of the season, don't we? Because we had to drop 2 races. We had to drop the Daytona race and we had to drop the Mid-Ohio race due to technical problems. But one race is actually just postponed till the end of the season.
Yes, it's Daytona. It was not possible to postpone Mid-Ohio because we have not enough free days to move the race without colliding with other championships.
Yeah. So we're down to 9 races this season. So this is race number, I'm losing count because of, this is race number 5, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Should be. So race number 5 means we're then halfway through, or a bit more than halfway through. So really, whoever finishes at the top of the table after this race does stand a really good chance to make it all the way to the championship. We still see 2 Danielsson Motorsports racers here. We only have 1 Roaring Pipes Maniacs racer on the grid, and as far as I can see, we have either none or only 1 DHR racer on the grid, so it looks as if Danielsson Motorsports are set to take the title this year. At least they're in a very good position to do so. Ehnström still not pitting. and you never know with him. He is such a brilliant player. He might just go for it and take those suffering tires all the way from here to the bitter, bitter end, which, however, is still 30 minutes or so away. That might be 30 very long minutes for Roland Ehnström and his virtual 4G40.
Anyway, Eckhart, let me tell you that the distance with Dragos Haba is getting shorter. They are already at 7 seconds, but the distance with David Greco is increasing. Roland is being faster than David Greco in the last 3-4 laps, even with all tires.
Yeah, that is not a good sign for David Greco. It seems that something was really messed up or something went wrong with his pit stop, doesn't it? I mean, he was all in control when he went into the pits. He stayed in the pits longer than we expected, and then there might have been a problem with the pit menu actually. Maybe he pressed the wrong button or something, and now he's so slow getting out of the pits. And Jose, can we follow Greco's car for a moment so we can check on his line, see if his driving is also suffering there? Yep, taps here as he goes into the brake zone. And the car looks very unstable getting out of the brake zone. He really has to kind of do some very quick movements with the steering wheel to keep it back on the right track, to put the nose in the direction that he wants it to. So that looks very, well, not really wobbly to me, but as if David Greco has some problems here. Maybe that there was one touch too much and that his suspension is a bit bent.
I don't know, doesn't look like it because all his laps are more or less in the same time. Now his last lap was very fast, almost like his personal best. But the previous 4 Eckert were up on the 1 minute 3 seconds, which is very low compared to Haba and Roland.
It certainly is, it certainly is. Yeah, that might point to something there, a bit of a problem there with the setup, a bit of a problem with the virtual suspension, and he might, I mean, he's also a really brilliant sim racer. He might simply have gotten used to it or found a way around it, and now that he's figured out what happens if he pushes a little bit here, if he brakes a bit earlier there, now he maybe has found his rhythm again, and that would explain why now the lap times are slightly better again.
Yeah, possibly. The one that is literally flying over the track is Dragos Haba. He made a 1:02.096 3 laps ago. He's in very low 0.02s, so he is the fastest guy on Trois Rivieres.
Yep, and so say if we follow Ehnström, we can see Dragos Haba in the back already. Ehnström going down that long straight there, the Boulevard du Carmel, and into the brake zone, and we should see Haba in the back there. So if you see another Danielsson Motorsports car in front of Haba, that is Ludde Andersson, who is a lap down, and so he is indeed catching up mightily on Roland. I'm just checking the timing. We still have 30 minutes left in the race. 30 minutes left, so if he's on a 2-stop strategy, he should pit any moment now. But I don't think. I think he will try to take it back home.
Yes, 30 minutes is too much. With the same tires now. Maybe he made a mistake or something, because let me check his lap times, because yeah, David Greco is now faster than him. Now he's recovering. He's on 1 16, 17 seconds behind.
Okay, so everything's still wide open, I would say, here at Trois Rivieres. We're about half an hour away from the end of the race. We've done 2/3 of the race, and here he goes. He goes into the pits now. It's a two-stopper for Roland Ehnström, and he will try to do that pit stop as quickly as possible. We see Dragos Haba moving past with Ludde Andersson and Tau, but don't mix them up. That's the other Danielsson Motorsports racer who's a lap down already. We see one of the Danielsson Motorsports 2 going past, and this is David Greco. Ehnström now down to 3, and the big question is, can he actually get close to Greco again? Greco seems to have found his rhythm again, and seems to be in very good rhythm, and well, Ehnström takes a lot of time on the pits, and he's out of the pits now. So Ehnström, position number 3 seems to be secure, but at this point in the race, with only 30 minutes to go, I don't really think he stands a chance to actually make a move on Greco. Let's quickly check on the time difference there. It's Haba in front for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, 13 seconds behind David Greco. Ehnström down 36 seconds, and Kevin Clark only 6 seconds away from Ehnström in position number 4. And then we have lap races from there all the way down to 12 to Mr. Ihab Abbas for the Ehnström Racing. So it's basically defending number 3 now, isn't it, for Roland Ehnström?
Yes, I would say so.
And what a great race by Dragos Haba. It's his home race. He's Canadian, and this is a track that in real life is in Canada, in the town of Trois Rivieres, which is something like 130 kilometers north of Montreal, in the French-speaking part of Canada. And Dragos Haba looks all set to take it home for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, so even though they only had one car on the grid tonight, which is a pity really, he looks set to take some very useful points back home for them in the fight for the championship. However, if we think that Danielsson Motorsports 1 has Ehnström and 3 and Ludde Andersson in 5, it looks as if they are the great winners of tonight's race if they can stick to their positions. And we just saw some problems there by Dragos Haba, trying to power out of that turn behind that Port Duplessis there. He had some problems getting the power down, and went into the wall a little, but he seems to have recovered nicely, and I don't think that was some serious damage there to the RPM Marco Rally. It's the black version of the RPM car. The white one had to stay in the garage tonight, and he's really taking it through his paces here with David Greco for the Black Rebels in position number 2. He was the race leader for most of the first part of the race, but Haba got past him in the pits. And then in 3, Roland Ehnström for Danielsson Motorsports Virtual, who had to make do with the start position, grid position number 15, due to a little infringement by the team, which meant that they couldn't put in a qualification time, and it looks as if the race is pretty much settled at the front end there. And what about the racers in the other positions? So time for another rundown to check out who is actually still in the race and where they are on the grid.
Yeah, I think so. We are with P4 Kevin Clark.
All right, so we've done the first 3. Thank you very much, Kevin Clark. No, we haven't shown that much of him. That's a brilliant performance tonight for Flat Out. Very, very stable performance by him, I would say. He started the race in grid position number 8, but he was up to 7 even before the race started, because Pano Ronka even had to leave the grid due to technical problems. And so from 7 to 4, that looks like a great race for Kevin Clark here. And if he can bring it home, it's pretty much the best position that the flat-out racers had this season so far. They were in the lead in Daytona before we had to forego that race, so they might have a shot at winning the very last race of the season. Kevin Clark for the flat-out, and none of the flat-out club racers tonight on the grid, which is a pity really, but that might be down to the problems they had, the technical problems. David Jose, have you heard anything about that? Why we didn't have any flat-out club racers tonight?
Yes,
Yes.
Eckhart,
Go.
No.
Yeah, they were having technical problems in one of their cars, and looks like they were not able to get in touch with the second driver. But no,
Okay.
why.
Okay, real life I would say. So it's a pity really, because those Siroccos, I think they would have done fairly well on a circuit like this. I played Sirocco here in the preparation for the season, and it felt pretty good on this track here. But that flat-out car that we see here, the Vertigo, seems to be pretty much at home in Canadian Trois Rivieres as well, because it's in position number 4. And now down the grid to number 5, it's Ludde Andersson for the Danielsson Motorsports Team 1, chasing one of the Eni racers there, who is another lap down. Then in 6, Johan Pesula for the Danielsson Motorsports Team 2 in the new BMW Z4. Position number 7 for Antonio Cambria, which we saw on a podium position a bit earlier on, but it seems that Senor Cambria was not able to really quite stick to the pace that he had the first laps. And but still a great race here for Corse Racing, the all-Italian team, and he might take home the best result I think that they had this season so far in the Mosla, which is not really suited for this track. In 8, Gregory de Grief for the Black Rebels, the second of the Black Rebels cars. He's had a dented right-hand side all the way from the start. Somebody must have given him a little push and shove there at the beginning of the race. And then in 9, the second of the Danielsson Motorsports Virtual Team 2 cars, so all 4 Danielsson racers still on the grid. How do they do it, David? How do they just, from the start of the race, keep all the racers in the race all the time? It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it completely is.
That gives them just such an edge when it comes to points and when it comes to a long season. No matter how far you get your own driver on the grid, once or maybe twice, they're simply there all the time, and they're just reliable as hell, aren't they? My idea would be that Danielsson Motorsports sets a high premium on preparation, so it looks as if not only the players themselves, but also all the hardware is extremely well prepared for the race. So we never really have any posts by them saying, oh, I had a problem with the line, or what happened to me. For example, to me personally, last when I played recently, was that just all of a sudden the computer dropped dead, more or less, gave me a blue screen, and I was out of the race. And that kind of thing simply doesn't happen to Danielsson, does it?
Yes, they are really prepared for every race, and not only Danielsson Motorsports. I know RPM, I know all the teams racing the series takes their time to prepare, to make a good setup. There is like a calendar preparing the races, asking who will race each event. I think the series need to go back to where the teams deserves. The standard the teams deserves.
Yep, that's very much to my what's on my mind too, but I think the race tonight shows that we're pretty much back on track, aren't we? I hope we can solve some few issues that we still have, but at least to me, the race tonight looked absolutely clean. GameHosters.net have provided us this time with a perfect server. They've obviously taken some pains to try and find the problem that we had with the server last time, and it seems that they've solved the problem, doesn't it?
Yes, there's no doubt about that, but well, I think the problem we have with some technical problems with the mod, it's affecting. Surprisingly, there are teams that are not suffering any mod-related problems at all, and there are others that are continuously dropping one car because that. And now, of course, we are in the middle of the season. It's really not, but we will.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's impossible to change the mod, really. And I think we'll have long discussions before next season, what we'll do about next season. I think about the whole format, but I mean, the mod looks just so beautiful. Sorry guys, but I think you two, it's the same with you. We're kind of eye people, not in the meaning that I come first, but in that the eyes come first. And this just looks absolutely breathtaking on the grid here. And so I would really not like to change anything with the mod for next season, but that's my personal view.
Well, I think we have to test during the summer again, and we need to try to find the problem. Maybe we can't fix the problem, but as the original mod has 20 cars, and we don't need 20, we can just try to figure out which car or which cars are making the trouble. And
if it's the Scirocco, just drop the Scirocco. Yep, we still have a nice choice out there, and if it's the Scirocco, well, we just dropped the Scirocco. Too bad. It's a nice, really looks nice on the grid, and it's great fun to play actually. And bit of mouth-watering here for those of you who can't get their hands on the STC mod, and because you're outside of the ST system, sorry guys. And yeah, that's the way I would take too. But let's go back to the race. We're actually on a rundown here, and I got a bit carried away. Sorry, folks. We're still, I think, to say with number 9, Peter Kohl.
Well, actually, we're with race leader because I continued while we talked.
Okay, so I think everybody has seen where people are. In 10 is Konrad Stanczak for the Blue Flags, in 11 is Keith Ettles for Amy Deggan, and in 12 Ihab Abbas for Amy Deggan. So that means we are with the race leader, and these guys are still out on the track while we are babbling away. And let me give you an update of the time differences between the players. We have 17 minutes to go. It's Dragos Haba in 1, 15 seconds behind him. It's David Greco, 29 seconds behind Roland Ehnström. So he is recovering time. Kevin Clark now 49 seconds behind. I don't think it'll figure out though. He still has 14 seconds to go to Greco. That would mean that in the remaining 17 minutes he would have to make up a second every lap. David, you have access to the current lap times. Is he actually a second faster every single lap?
Yes, he is even more than a second, Deckard.
I can't believe it.
A second with second 3, second 4, more or less.
I can't believe it. That guy is just well.
As an example,
Roland Ehnström. Yep,
the three last laps of Greco were 1 minute 3.7, 1 minute 3.3, and 1 minute 3.9, and last 3 laps for Roland were 1 minute 2.6, 1 minute 2.6, and 1 minute 2.4. So
jeez. Yep.
Around
the guy is on. He's gonna catch him. He has about 16 or 15 laps left. He has a 14-second gap, and he's closing it by about a second every lap. That figures out. So I think with about 4 laps to go, he should be very hot on David Greco's tail. And by that time, Greco's tires will be completely shot. So he will be hard-pressed, and I'm really looking forward to that finish. It's going to be huge. Dragos Haba, I don't think will be affected by that. I think we can say at this point already that he is in for another superb win for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs. But the huge battle is between Greco and between Roland Ehnström, flying across the circuit here at Trois Rivieres, trying to catch up with Greco. Greco is now in position number 2 and advancing on Ludde Andersson, about to lap Ludde Andersson for the second time, I think. And so I wonder if he knows what's coming up from behind. He should, because he does have the times on his screen as well, so he's probably figuring out what to do, and he's probably done about the same math that I have just done, that it's going to be really close towards the end. So, David, what would be your strategy? Pushing as hard as you can now, even if that means your tires will be completely short the last 5 minutes, or letting Roland come on and then save your tires for the last 5 laps for the direct fight?
Well, I really don't know. I have never been in that situation, but I would say that the question now is being constant in the pace, and Roland is being very constant. His latest, yeah, exactly. It's a clockwork. His latest 10 laps, the difference between the laps are around less than 0.2.
My goodness, and this on a track like that, towards the end of a 90 minutes race. He's been out there for 75 minutes. Concentration must be well shot by now. And I wonder if we should check them for, substances from time to time. Don't know what these Swedish guys drink before the race. I think they must give their secret away one of these days. I'm following down the Greco's car on my screen.
You said.
Yeah, exactly. What is it that he takes before the race?
I think it's Super 98,
Possibly. Might be tonight. I mean, we have the Tre Krona team, the ice hockey team. They're playing their match in the World Championship, which is currently taking place in Germany. So, might be that he's just following it on a screen, and that gives him the extra push there, supporting his team. I mean, all the Swedes are crazy about ice hockey, aren't they? And I'm following David Greco, and he's having a hard time keeping that Corvette on the track. Don't know if, Jose, are we following David on the screen?
Yes, right now.
And he is sliding all over the place. He's not taking the lines that he wants to take. That is 100% clear. And it's more like keeping the car on the track. Watch these lines here. He has to slow down getting out of the turn so as not to touch the wall there on the outside of the turn. And the next is an especially tricky turn here because it's really tight. And then he's out, and you can see that Danielsson Motorsport's 2 racer has been following him for laps now without much of an effort, it seems. And so Greco really does have his problems here keeping the Corvette on track. And gap to Ehnström at this point, David?
Yes, the gap is less than 10 seconds right now. It's less than 9 seconds even. Around 8 seconds and a half.
8 seconds and a half, and we have something like 11 minutes to go. It looks pretty good for Roland Ehnström.
Yes, Greco made a couple of laps ago, made a lap over 1 second and 4. So he's not on an easy pace.
No, he definitely isn't.
Yeah, one thing is make contact, and other thing is to back. Okay, this is not Formula 1, it's not that hard to back, but still if you have a driver that knows how to defend position, and you have to back in 3 minutes, it's not that easy.
Yep, I see your point. It's especially on a tight track like this. I mean, moving up to the guy is one thing, and then getting past a completely different cup of tea, isn't it? and they're both gentlemen drivers, so it's going to be really interesting to watch how they play their end game here. What happens to them once they're within viewing distance. And this happens almost now. The moment David Greco gets out of that start and finish straight, which is called Avenue Jules Villeneuve, the moment he turns into start, which is the turn ending the straight, we've just seen Roland Ehnström getting into Villeneuve, which is the turn opening up the straight. So the next time on the start and finish straight, if Greco actually checks his rear view mirrors, he should be able to see Ehnström. And that is always, at least for me, really a moment I fear that you can see that guy behind coming closer and closer and closer. However, I've heard that some racers actually like that if they can visually see their opponent, they feel much better.
I have news.
Yes, Greco is struggling clearly.
While we wait for Greco and Roland get in touch, I have news from Gregory Kogotti and Luke Mangas. In Luke Mangas' case, the problem he had, his screen shut down during the race.
Too bad. Yep.
And Gregory Kogotti had internet connection problems. He needs to replace his internet provider. He's saying.
Yes, he talked about it on the forum. He has had these problems on and off, and that may have been just one too much. And also, I've seen that Keith Ettles has been in the pits for the Amy Racing and has spent a considerable time in the pits. So it may be that we're down to 11 here at the end of the race. I'm quickly checking whether he is still in the pits or whether he's back on track. No, he's back on track. He's actually back on track, and lucky moment here for the team Amy Dagan. He was in the pits for a long time. It looked to me as if he was about to drop out. But right now Greco has actually lapped him, and that means that Amy Dagan racer you see there now being approached by, with Roland Ehnström approaching fast from behind. That is Keith Ettles on the track here for Amy Dagan, still in position number 11, and they're going to take home a lot of points tonight. Best night so far for Amy Dagan. Well, boys, keep it together, and you'll be in for some champagne, I suppose. Okay, just quickly checking the timing screen here. We have 8 minutes to go. It's 16 seconds between Haba and Greco. Sorry, Dragos, we're not showing you on our screen that often. But the huge fight is between Greco and Ehnström. Ehnström is now 5.5 seconds behind with 7.4 minutes to go. And then we have Kevin Clark in 30 seconds or 35 seconds behind Ehnström. And then it's Ludde Andersson down a lap, and we still have 12 racers on the grid.
Eckhart, I think we can make the last rundown before the end of the race, because probably we will be following Ehnström and Greco.
Yep, probably. So before we come to the huge and exciting finish here at Trois Rivieres, it's another famous STC rundown of the grid. I botched the last one because I started talking too much after position number 9, so sorry guys, this time it'll be for real. Here we are with position number 1, Dragos Haba for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, closing in on what seems to be another win for him in the STC. We've seen his brother Christian in one of the last seasons, and now it's Dragos taking the wins here for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, and they really need the points if they want to not lose touch with Danielsson Motorsport's Team 1. Position number 2, we've talked about him a lot, David Greco, who has just passed Ludde Andersson, make no mistake, that's not Roland Ehnström behind him there. Then Roland Ehnström in 3, but I think you can see how close he already is to David Greco, or David Greco I should say. Kevin Clark, as I just told you, in 4. The last of the players who is still in one lap with the leader. Ludde Andersson in 5 for the Danielsson Motorsports Team 1. Followed very closely, oh my goodness, that's the closest fight for position here, except for the one we talked before, by Johan Pesula. for Danielsson Motorsports Team 2. Antonio Cambria for the Team Corse in 7, taking on some brilliant points here for the Italian team. Gregory De Grief for the Black Rebels, or De Grief, sorry, for the Black Rebels. That will be a good team result for you guys too. Peter Kohl, the second of the Danielsson Motorsports Team 2 in 9. Konrad Stanczak, my blue flag teammate in 10. Just lapping, he's down 3 laps actually at this point in the race, and my goodness does his racer look banged up. Konrad, if you bring that BMW home, I think you have to spend some extra time in the garage to take out all these nicks and dents that you put into, but you're still there, you're still in 10, and you're taking home these points. Looks great, man. And in 11 we have Keith Apples for Amy Dagan. He spent a lot of time in the pit, so he's down 6 laps at this moment. And then Ihab Abbas, the second of the Amy Dagan racers, in 12, another also 6 laps down, and just now being lapped by the Corse player there. Well, that's your final rundown for the race, and let's go back to that position number 2, which is the hottest seat in virtual Trois Rivieres. And it belongs to David Greco, who at this point is followed by 2 Danielsson Motorsports racers, of which one is not of concern to him, that's Ludde Andersson, and of which the other one is of very much concern to him, that's Roland Ehnström, and that's the one who is really close to him now. Timing screen says 4 minutes to go, which comes up to 5 laps to go, and timing screen says 1 minute 7/10 between those two. Timing screen also says that Dragos Haba is pulling away slowly from David Greco. He's now 18 seconds in front. What do you think David is going through the other David Greco's mind now? Defend that position number 2 at all costs, even if it means putting your car into the wall and taking home no points, or rather letting Ehnström get past with some fight, but not all of the fight?
Well, in my point of view, the only option is defending the position to all costs, because it's not the start of the race. 85 minutes are gone, and you have to defend the position in the remaining 3 minutes.
Yep,
by the way, I think I have seen. Yes, it's.
Saw that too somewhere on my screen. Kevin Clark put his light into the wall, didn't he?
Exactly, or blue engine, I think it was smoking.
Oh no. That is just too sad for the flat outs, but we have a fight on our hands, guys, and it's only, I think, 2 minutes to go in the race, so it should be 2 or 3 more laps. And Greco is now in direct contact with Ehnström, or rather the other way around. This is the first time that Ehnström is actually so close. And Ehnström sliding out of the turn, my goodness. This is a turn you can't get past, but if he gets into the slipstream now, he does have a fair chance at the end of this long straight going into that slightly touch and brake zone there that we talked about before. Greco is defending his position with all his might. He's done it, and he's touching the wall tires there. That is the best place to overtake, really, so Ehnström really has to wait for another lap, I suppose, to set up a second shot. Brilliant defending move by Greco there. Nothing unfair that I could see there, just blocking Ehnström a little, and I think Roland had actually anticipated the move. He was off the throttle pretty quickly and didn't even touch Greco a bit there, but now they're into another lap, which could be the penultimate lap of the race. close as Ehnström will try to get as close as possible as they pass that arch, which they do now. And Ehnström took a different line, and that might be the decisive move. Greco moves over, tries to defend, as David said, at all costs, but now Ehnström is on the inside. They're racing towards that 90-degree turn. Greco again trying to defend it. Greco sliding, and Greco into the wall, into the tires, and it's Ehnström past. Can Greco move? Yes, he can actually recover the car and go on. For a moment I thought he had lost the whole race, but no, he's back on track. He does have a second Danielsson Motorsports 1 racer and Danielsson Motorsports 2 racer behind him, but that's Andersson and I think Pesula, and they are a lap or 2 laps down. Ehnström is in 2. That move was decisive, wasn't it, David?
Yes, yes. As you said, Eckhart, all cost, even putting your car into the wall, exactly as you said, that's what we got.
Yep, he tried really. He can go home a proud man. He tried everything he could, apart from really knocking Roland out, which of course is out of the question for someone like David Greco. And there was nothing he could do. Roland just came out of that turn here behind that arch so quickly that he was on the inside almost instantly. And
Dragos Haba is, yeah, exactly. Haba is about to win the race.
We should go and watch him win the race, and there he is, going down the start and finish straight. And yes, he's won the race. A great win here for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, for Dragos Haba, a home win in Canada for him, and possibly a position number 2 for Roland Ehnström, who is on the last virtual meters of this lap here. He's knocked another lap off that Eni racer there, and Ehnström across the line now, taking a brilliant second position, imagining that he came from position number 15. And it's Greco in 3. It's disaster here, because the GTR Evo engine is playing havoc with these poor racers. It's Ludde Andersson in 4. It looks so stupid. It's Andersson in 4. It's Pesula in 5, so he gets knocked out of the way here. Antonio Cambria in 6, Gregory de Grief in 7, Peter Kohl in 8, Konrad Stanchak crosses the finish line here in 9 for the Blue Flag Racing, Keith Ettles in 10, and then Ihab Abbas in 11, so 11 racers still on the grid. Well, neither of you was right, and I was wise enough to not say anything. David, you said 7 or 8 are going to make it. Jose, you said 14 are going to make it. We're down to 11, which means about half of the guys who started the race.
Does it mean that we owe you a dinner when we meet, Eckhart, or what?
Yep, definitely, definitely. You owe me something with fish, because I relish dinner with fish. Something Spanish with fish.
Okay.
All right, folks, I think it's time for the national anthem, isn't it, Jose?
Yeah, it is, in honor of the winners.
Which anthem do we have? Dutch anthem for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, or Canadian anthem for Dragos Haba?
We never put personal anthems, Eckhart.
That is the spirit. That is the spirit. Yeah, it's just because it's never on my screen, and so that is the right spirit here. It's a team challenge, so it's quiet now for the Dutch national anthem for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs. Yep, I've got my screen set on the TeamSpeak as well. And, race winner is with me, Dragos Haba. Congratulations. Looks like a perfect race from you.
If you consider that perfect, Eckhart, I don't know, man. There was a lot of bumps and bruises, and I spun the car, and it was a good race.
Didn't see that.
First place finish. It was a first place finish, and I'm glad of that. I had a little bit of an incident on turn 1, and I'm really sorry about that. I dove on the inside of Jack, and well, he turned into me, and then he ended up in the tire wall. But
yep.
I don't know. That's what happened there, and I'm hoping that doesn't result in something, because I think I was in front of him at that time when I dove on the inside. So I hope everything goes all right with that. But overall, it was a really great race, and staying behind Mr. David Greco was very interesting, because I would get close and then I would kind of get afraid and back off a little bit or nudge the wall. But it was definitely a good race. And I'm glad that I could bring it home, because those tires were going off at the end like crazy.
Yep, and I think it also helped that Greco had this fight with Roland Ehnström that, of course, you didn't really watch as closely as we did. And now David Greco is with us as well in the room. So, Dragos, is it kind of special winning on a Canadian track?
I have never been to Trois Rivieres, and for me, I guess it's special in a way, though I would have liked to race in Motorsport more, because I've actually been to the track, and maybe someday I'll actually race there. But it's definitely nice to race there, and it's a good feeling to win, especially since I was the only RPM member that was able to join this evening.
Yeah, that was too bad, wasn't it? Was it down to a technical problem, or did you not couldn't you contact the second racer, or what was wrong there?
Well, it was Christopher Ponte that was supposed to be racing with us today, and he just could not enter. It was really weird. He could enter other servers at first, and then he just couldn't enter the STC server, and then it just stopped and dropped off altogether, because he just couldn't join anything anymore.
Anyway, so in that case, it's the best possible outcome for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, and David Greco, congratulations to a third position there. Sorry, Roland, we're waiting for the interview with you a bit here, because David Dragos was just telling us about his race. How is the race going from your position? You must have had some huge problems with your tires.
Well, I think it was a pretty good race, thinking that I almost never used this simulator, and I'm much more used to racing open wheel, Formula 1 type of mods, type of car, so it's very difficult. And I knew the Corvette wasn't very good in slow tracks, and actually I was pretty surprised by doing pole position, which I wasn't really counting on that. Well, being on podium is always a good thing, and I'm glad I could help my team, and let's see if I can make more races in the future with Black Rebel.
Ah, brilliant. And your real-life racing career, maybe a word about that? I've heard that you're busy in kart racing.
Well, that's not going well. It's not going too bad, too good. I mean, it's always there, trying to find some budget to try to do at least 2-3 races a year. That's the most I can make. But I don't know. Sometimes I go back in Brazil, where I do some karting race, where I started my real career. But that's looking difficult too for now. So really, no idea what's going on. What will happen there? No idea.
All right, bit on hold there. Well, Roland Ehnström, you're with us as well. Congratulations to a brilliant second position, all the way up from 15 on the grid. Your race strategy was different to anybody else's, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was a really hectic race. Starting this evening when I heard the news that we would be penalized for an administrative mishap and not qualify. So I started near the back. With the plan was to try to take positions in the beginning, but also be very careful because people will crash here, and when they do, they end up in the middle of the track because there is no runoff. So the first laps, I was careful in the overtakings and just trying to avoid any crashes, and there were a few. So I was up to, I think, 6th or 7th place, behind Fernando Reyes, who is very fast. And we were kind of stuck behind the BMW for quite a few laps. Reyes was trying to pass him and I was trying to pass them both, so that was a lot of fun. Finally we got past them both.
Okay, and then you had a two-stop strategy, which really worked out nicely. We saw you on the screen gaining on David Greco bit by bit, and then you had really a very intense two-lap battle with David. Some comment on that from your position?
Yeah, first the two-stop strategy, because after Reyes had spun and I was starting to have a clear track in head, and I could build a gap. And there were almost only my teammates behind, so I knew that if I go in and change tires, they will let me through easily, of course. So after I had enough gap to, I think it was Gregory the Gref, I went into the pits for first stop, only tires, and got out. Actually, he beat me to turn 1, but he slid wide because he braked too late. And then I had a clear track, new tires, and only half tank of fuel. So then I got my head down and drove a great stint. Got in the pits again, got out, and I was in 3rd position. So I gained a position on Kevin Clark there in the two-stopper. And now I had fresh tires, which the leaders didn't. Haba was too fast. I couldn't catch him, I knew that. But I knew I had a chance against Greco because he was already, he had pitted quite early. So I was gaining quite a lot on him already in the beginning of the final stint, and more towards the end. But then another problem came up because my engine was getting very marginal. Because the temperature was 30 degrees, and we had planned for 24 or 25 or something, and my engine was running hot, and it was, I must tell you, it was very close that it gave up completely. And I actually had to start shifting early, and I had to judge my pace so that I would catch David, but not to stress the engine too much. So that's why I only catched him with 2 laps to go, and then I tried to find a way past. And it's not easy to pass a Corvette, but his tires were so bad, I only needed to put the car alongside on the exit, and then when I pushed the accelerator, I went forward, and when he pushed it, he went sideways. So anyway, we were side by side into the hairpin, and I braked, and then he braked, and my car stopped, and his didn't.
It sounds so easy when you say it. Okay, well, thanks to all 3 of you for a great race here at Trois Rivieres, and finally the STC is back on track. And next race up, I think, is Donington, isn't it, David Garcia?
Yes, exactly. We are leading to Donington to the end of the season, and now it comes 3 very fast circuits like Donington, Spa, Le Mans, and the postponed Daytona.
Yep, I think it's time for the big engines on the track here, so maybe we'll also see some great action by the Project D, who have had a really unlucky night tonight. Well, thank you very much to all 3. Congratulations again to the podium.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A huge big thank you to Jose Estrada and David Garcia for putting the STC back on track. You've had a big battle on your hands the last 3 weeks, and I think you've done a great job. We're back in the business.
It seems so. It's good to have a almost normal race with some technical problems, of course, but in general I think was a good day.
Yes, and thanks to you as well, Eckhart. Without you, that wouldn't be possible to keep it working.
Oh, I'm just the voice on top of it all, and without the technology behind it, I would be nothing. Well, it's good night from me, your friendly voice of the STC, Eckhart von Glan, and hope to see you all in Donington, which I think, David, is next week already.
Yeah, it is, Eckhart.
Haha, David is off to check the timetable. Well, good night then, bye-bye.
Good night, guys.